The last question today, we're going to start with Jim. You've all spent countless hours away from your family, losing a lot of money, in some cases giving money to this cause, based on the premise, I would assume, that you believe you're the best person to be the next United States Senator. Forums like these are about distinctions. So for a closing question, why you and not the others running? Jim.
Well, I'm a leader. I'm not a lawyer. My business has been to fix broken, bankrupt, dysfunctional organizations, and I've been doing this for 25 to 30 years. I have a lot of experience in this regard. I understand, I think better than any other candidate, the issues that result in businesses creating jobs and also losing jobs. I also feel I have a far better understanding of economics, finance and accounting, and the history of what works and what doesn't work in terms of stimulating our economy. I know a lot about Washington, D.C., not because I've been a bureaucrat or a politician, but because my business has taken me to Washington for decades, and I've worked with the Congress at close hand. I believe that I know how to bring about smaller government. I know how to get a hand on the corruption that I think cripples our government, and I think doing these two things would stimulate our economy and bring job growth to America and also New Hampshire. And these are the things that I think distinguish me and make me a better candidate. Thank you.
I take it this is our last question. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for serving as a fine panel and organizing this, particularly the Americans for Prosperity and Cornerstone. They're wonderful organizations working to fight for conservative values that resonate with the people at this time. And I'm privileged and honored to be a candidate among a fine field of candidates. I thank them, Kelly and Jim and Bill and whoever else is interested in getting involved. It's not easy to put your name on the line and to sign up and to be subject to public scrutiny, to stand for your positions. But I'm the only candidate in this race who has any kind of track record that you can look to as a leader in a conservative movement, as a candidate who stood on conservative principles. I invite you to look at our platform when I ran for governor in 1996 and won a primary when I was not expected to win. The choice in this election is fundamentally to reverse course in Washington. The primary process is designed for the people to nominate that candidate who can best represent our Republican platform. I was the chairman of the Republican Platform Committee. I stand on that platform, all parts of it. And I'm the best candidate, given my experience both as a worker in the conservative movement and my experience in the community, to represent the party and to take on Paul Hodes. I will present a stark contrast to Paul Hodes, the starkest contrast on every issue. And the voters in November need to know that there are stark differences. Big government, more overreaching government, more deficits is Paul Hodes' recipe, and ours and mine is yours. Small, responsible government, states' rights, individual freedoms, and liberties. I ask you to join our team. And I thank you for your attention this afternoon and being here to participate. Thank you.
I'm a prosecutor. I'm not a politician. But you've seen my record. I'll stand up with courage and conviction. And my record is one where I've actually gone and led by example. When we had a police officer murdered in the line of duty, I went into the courtroom myself and tried it as Attorney General. When we had a case where our parental notification law was challenged, I took it to the United States Supreme Court over the governor's disagreement because I thought that was my duty under the law, and I argued the case myself. When the state was facing a budget crisis last January, we're talking about layoffs, every department head was scheduled to get a 5% increase. I didn't take it. That had nothing to do with running for this office. It had everything to do with leading by example. I didn't think that was the right thing to do when we were talking about the people of New Hampshire. They weren't getting pay raises. And I will tell you, what we need in Washington is tough, new, conservative leadership to stand up to the forces that want to have government be the answer to all of our problems, to get us away from the Constitution. And I absolutely will stand up with courage and conviction to get results for you in Washington. And that's why I stand forward. I'm running for Senate. I have 2 children, and I'll tell you, I want to make sure that we follow through on the promise we've always made. And that is to make sure they have the same opportunities that we have had in this great country. But they're not going to have it if we don't balance our budget, if we don't have a smaller, more accountable government that adheres to the Constitution. And that's why I'm running, and I'm going to get results and listen to what you have to say. And I hope that you will support me. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you all very much on behalf of James and Corey. I just want to thank you very much for participating in this forum today. I think it was very informative for our audience. I want to thank our audience for coming. This is such a great crowd we have here. I'm glad so many people took their time on a Saturday afternoon to come and listen to these candidates. And how about just giving them a round of applause?